adventure has started now. We are ahead of schedule and at the base of Summit 1.
I was always aware of multiple Table Mountains in the Western Cape, and at the beginning of the year that list consisted of the one in Cape Town, the one just outside of Franschhoek, and the one in the Tafelberge. And I always had the idea to do a big epic one weekend trip and summit all three of them as a decent training weekend. But then lockdown happened and put all of these plans to a halt. And it was during lockdown that I slowly became aware of more and more mountains with the name Tafelberge. And slowly this list, which was initially only 3, grew to a sum total of 15 that are Tafelberge that are considered mountains.
I describe this experience as a dish served cold, uncomfortable for most to digest, because for 5 days we kept moving, slept the minimum, drove very far, and covered good distance and elevation on foot. The thing for me about this mission was that so little people would actually do it. If you look at the time and energy and money spent, it's not for everyone. But it's an amazing feeling when you're so driven on an adventure that when the alarm goes off at 3:30 and you only had 3 hours to sleep, that you just get up and go without coffee. Because we did our first summits in the dark, and on a tight schedule, the coffee came with the sunrise after Summit 1. Epic shit does not wait around until you are comfortable. The build-up to this adventure was quite something. The logistics, all the logistics, and multiple road trips for scouting, which started straight out of lockdown months before the big mission. The scouting in itself was an amazing adventure, to go to places we have never been and never would have gone otherwise, and summits in the snow upon scouting was a treat. It was interesting how the views changed from scouting to big mission. Some views were way better and others we didn't see at all because it was in pitch darkness. Our adventure was properly kicked off the first evening when our accommodation didn't pan out. We ended up sleeping under the stars next to our first Tafelberge, which was quite memorable, and I don't think we wanted to be anywhere else at that point. The 3 of us met as trail runners, but on this mission there was mostly no trails. So trail running became mountain running, and mountain running became boonda bashing. And boonda bashing also happened at night. Throw in navigation, and it was a whole new ball game to juggle. The low point for me was my feet just freaking out after day 2. My feet felt like one big blister, and quite frankly, a bit rotten. And for the first time, I thought to myself and questioned, will I be able to complete this if my feet gets worse? But luckily, it was a matter of airing them out between mountains, and I could complete 5 days with manageable pain. I feel like we expected to be very tired and sore and overdrive and maybe lose the plot a little, but we didn't. Physically and mentally, we weren't broken, which means this might just be the start of things. We saw and climbed some mountains very few people will ever do in their lifetime. They aren't all big and majestic, but they are special. Big kudos to Lillian for dreaming up this adventure for us.
Geez, it was so extraordinary being able to join Dalian and Karu and Ray on this trip and see the country and see the Western Cape in a way that I've never actually experienced it before. As our goals were to reach the 15 mountains in the 5 days, which we did end up accomplishing, it was just an an incredible journey, being able to share the stress and the laugh and the planning, the highs and the lows with friends. It just made it so much more worthwhile. And there's so much value in community and in sharing it with people that are actually not directly involved, but just kind of looking on at what you're doing and getting strength from our process. And that was quite cool, to be able to share and reflect on the adventure and inspire other people to an extent. So I found that really gratifying. I think the lessons that I've learned and taken away from the whole experience was, even when things are tough and difficult and your brain is kind of like bombing out because it doesn't understand what's going on, and you think, oh, I have to be strong, I have to be strong. You actually, there's a line between having to be strong and having a strong head and ability to switch off your head, and just carry on. And as soon as you start the motion, as soon as you start the process, as soon as you put one foot in front of the other one, it gets easier and easier, and then you can allow yourself to switch back on and think of the things ahead. I don't know, it's a strange feeling having a strong head, but also then being strong enough to switch off your head and not to overthink things. And I think, yeah, that's what I learned. Well, that's the big thing that I can still use now. Going forward into life is just, it's life isn't as tough as it seems in the moment. All you have to do is just carry on. Van al my land se Tafelberge is daar vir my maar twee. Dis die Tafelberg by Boplaas en sy ou boet by die see. By Boplaas se berg was ek 'n kind, met 'n kind seil en lag. By sy ou boet word ek rebelsig oud, met 'n ou man se dink en wag. Die begin op die plaas was waterpas reg, maar hoe ruim jy die ouderdom weg met 'n ou man se pieker en wag?